Welcome to the Boss Life podcast, coming to you straight from the DMV. I'm your host, Shaina, Mowatt, a Maryland licensed real estate agent with Exit Deluxe Realty, where we close deals, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button. To be a boss, you have to meet a boss, and today I have the pleasure of sitting with one of the biggest bosses that I know, coming straight out of the DMV. He is dedicated and educated. To know him is to know his charismatic side, and he's very fun-loving. He has over 25 years in the business as a producing agent and broker. He is the broker owner of Exit Realty Enterprises and the managing broker of Exit Deluxe Realty. He has served on the National Association of Realtors Educational Committee as the Legislative Committee. Welcome, Vincent Ekuban.
Hey, Shaina, thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
That's good.
Excited for today.
So, first, let's just start off. You could just tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you come from a real estate family. So, what was it like for you getting started in the real estate industry?
Okay, well, so my story is I guess a little funny. I honestly, when I got started in real estate, I've been in real estate now for 26 years, and my father has been in real estate for 50 years. I did not want to get into real estate. I wanted to do something different than what my father did because he cast a big shadow, mainly because of the fact that every time people heard my last name, they said, "Oh, are you the real estate guy's son?" Yeah, that was me. Even all the way when I was going to Howard, that's what was happening. So I wanted to do something different. I got into home improvement. I did that for about 3 years, and then when that company closed while I was going to Howard, my father said, "Just get your real estate license." And I got my license, and my first client was a single mother with 3 kids. Never thought she could own a house. At settlement, she was crying and hugging me at settlement. It was the best feeling I ever had. So after that one transaction, I was like, okay, yeah, this is what I want to do, and full speed ahead after that.
Okay, so it became real personal because you went from not having any interest to being fully invested.
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit more of what the last 26 years looked like for you.
So when I started, I was working with my father for about 8.5 of those years, and it was learning the business, going through the growing pains like any new agent, which is why in real estate we call people rookies in this business for their first 4 years, because it takes time to go and learn the business. Right? It's an ever evolving business, so you learn literally every single day. My first year, I probably wanted to quit the business like 4 different times. I went to my father and said I was done. I'm not. I'm out. I'm quitting. And he was like, "No, you're not gonna quit. You're just gonna keep going because you're just learning the business." So by the first year, I still made pretty good income, but nothing compared to what I was making at as a home improvement contractor. And then my second year, I doubled that income, and then my third year, I went over 6 figures, and I never looked back after that.
Nice. So with all that time in real estate, what would you say is your favorite time? Like your favorite market that you worked? When was that?
My favorite real estate market that I've worked. That's a good one because real estate has ebbs and flows, so it goes ups and up and down. But honestly, there's never a time I don't love to sell real estate because the market doesn't really matter. The market's really in between our ears. So the market is what we make it. People want to buy, people want to sell when they have to buy and they have to sell. So that doesn't really. There's no specific best time for me. It's anytime somebody needs our help. That's the best time for me.
Okay. And I'm glad that you said that because I wanted to kind of play a little game with you. Because, we deal with a lot of different people, consumers, and a lot of people are what I call headline junkies. So they see something in the news and then they start thinking, now's a bad time in the real estate market. I don't want to get involved. So I have two headlines that I recently came across, and I just want you to either let us know if you agree, disagree, how you would respond to a consumer, whatever the case would be. Okay, so this one says, investors are breaking the housing market. The dream of owning a home has become a bitter joke for too many people. What do you think?
So it sounds like that journalist was attempting to talk about investors buying more and more properties. But that's really just, something that happens anyway. It's always been happening. Investors have always bought houses. What the media, unfortunately, tries to do is they like to create a story a lot of times. So the story that's being created there is that investors are hindering people who want to buy and occupy houses as their principal residence. Um, that is becoming an issue, but it's not becoming an issue. It's always been the case, and we even still have different agencies who sell houses, like HUD, for example, sell foreclosures that are only offered to owner occupants in the initial bidding phase. So there's always still ways for buyers who are gonna occupy a property as a principal residence to buy. Investors aren't stopping that, but the one thing it does tell us too is that a lot more people are interested in becoming real estate investors, and that does happen. But the biggest thing I would caution anyone who wants to do that is make sure you have a precise plan of what you want to do as an investor. Because everybody, if you could ask anyone walking down the street, 10 out of 10 people would likely tell you, "Oh yeah, I'd love to get into real estate investing," but what exactly do I need to do that is the question. Making sure you're with an agent who knows how to guide you to do that.
Got you. And so if you're watching this, make sure you have your pen and paper out, especially if you're a real estate agent. I love hearing Vincent respond to things like these, and I try to like take everything he says word for word. I just be taking notes. Okay, here's another one. The state of Maryland's housing market. What's driving home prices and impacting sales? And then it goes on to say, home sales are dropping, inventory remains low, and a national settlement could change the real estate commission process. So when people see that,
Yeah,
they get all shook.
yeah. So, all right. So, there's two aspects to that one, really. So, let's first talk about the thing about the market changing and inventory still being low and prices dropping, right? You're going to have a shift in some form or fashion when it comes to the real estate market when interest rates take a somewhat of a drastic change from what happened in 2023, especially the beginning of 2023, and then into the end of 2023 into 2024. So if people come from years of being used to interest rates that were at 3.5%, 4%, and then the interest rates change to 6 or 7%, where they kind of are now, you're going to have some buyers who don't quite understand the fact that they have to shift from being able to afford a house that is maybe 400,000 to maybe a house now that's 300,000 because of where they're comfortable with their mortgage payment. So as a result, it's more so a psychological shift for buyers, which causes them to say, okay, well, I'm going to wait to buy, which is why we had such a rise in the rental market and even a rise in the rental market values because people were shifting from buying to renting because they wanted to try to wait out interest rates.
Right.
Going to what I said earlier is that when it comes to a market, uh, the market is between your ears. So interest rates, ultimately, most buyers, especially if they're first-time buyers, or they're buying a house, even if it's been years since they've owned, if they want to buy a house, they are going to buy a house. I was selling houses at one point when interest rates were 15, 16%, but I was still selling houses. And that's
Right.
because it's always still better to own a house than to rent. When you rent, 100% of what you pay goes to someone else. When you own, at least a good portion of what you pay goes to equity. So that's why it doesn't really matter. But that's why you saw somewhat of a shift in terms of the number of transactions that happened from 2023 to going into the end of 2023, mainly because of the interest rate change. But inventory is still low, so that's why you still have situations where in the entire year, 2023, even now in 2024, we still have situations with multiple offers because if a house is a house that is good and it's in a sought after area, there's still going to be multiple offers. There's still more buyers than there are houses. So you're still going to be in a situation where houses that are in a good position are are going to sell and sell fast and with multiple offers.
Right.
Now, when it comes to the headline of the NAR settlement, That's a good one. And I've been waiting to talk about this on online.
I knew
Uh,
you would love this one.
yeah, this one I've been waiting for. So when it comes to the NAR settlement, a big aspect of it goes to what I said earlier when it comes to media and the spin that people want to put on this NAR settlement thing. So I probably, since it was announced in March, my phone has probably gone off at least 5 to 10 times a day with different people saying, "Hey, so what are you going to do now with the real estate market changing and all this other stuff?" The bottom line to this NAR settlement has nothing to do with how we as agents really operate or buyers and sellers really operate on a everyday given basis. The main thing that's going to simply change is how we agents offer compensation to other agents. So if someone is a listing agency and they currently right now we can offer compensation in our multiple listing service. If this settlement gets fully approved, the only change that will happen is that we won't be able to offer that compensation in our multiple listing service, but a compensation will still be offered and able to be offered through negotiation, just like it is in the commercial market currently. So, in terms of people thinking that commissions are changing and sellers aren't paying commission, sellers would be crazy not to offer compensation to a buyer's agency because what they would be doing is shooting themselves in the foot. It would be like taking your chances, your odds of selling your house from 100% to maybe 10 to 15% because you're losing a pool of that many people who are represented by buyers agents who are looking to buy houses. There would be no reason why that agent would take someone to see your house if you're not offering them compensation and their buyer has to pay when there are so many other houses that they could take their buyers to that will offer the compensation. So it's the question goes to the seller when we would meet with them one on one. Do you want to sell your house or do you want to take the chance of it just sitting on the market? Everyone who wants to sell their house wants to sell their house. So why
Right.
shoot yourself in the foot and not offer compensation and take the chance of letting your house sit on the market? So to me, as far as from a real estate standpoint, this doesn't change anything that we do when we go on a listing appointment. We negotiate the same way we negotiated before when it comes to commission, and that's not going to change.
Gotcha. So again, I guess it's more scary for the headline junkies who just see things and then automatically start freaking out. But like you said, especially for real estate agents who have been trained by, say, yourself, it shouldn't really shake you up too much because you're just doing what you've always done.
Exactly. And it's funny because literally there are agents who even still being trained with us still call
Mm-hmm.
me and say, "Hey, I'm about to go on a listing appointment. So what changes? Are the forms changing? What?" No, like I said, when we had a specific conversation about this, nothing has changed. And the only thing that may change later, if this gets fully approved, might be a form or two. That's it. Other than that, the way we do our business is not changing.
Gotcha. Okay, so let's move on. So at this point, the forefront of your career, it seems to be, well, I guess I would say what you're most known for is what you do for your agents as far as the training and the support that you give. But you are still a producing broker and you consecutively make six figures, year after year. So what's the secret to your sauce? Like, how do you stay heavy in the game like that?
That's a good question. So the biggest thing is time management. To be frank, that's the thing that I like to try to train agents on the most, and I also like to obviously live. So managing your time is extremely important because you have to be able to be available in my position to agents when they need you and to provide support when they need it. Because to me, that's the thing that agents need the most out here is support. Most agents, and unfortunately, and I've been in this long enough to see agents who I know could be fantastic agents, but because they lack the support around them, they don't have the ability to grow in the business, and then we lose agents who would be very good for our industry. So that's why I try to pride myself on being available and focusing on my training. I mean, I got that from my father. Honestly, he loved to train. He was a very good trainer. I really just picked it up from him and just tried to evolve it into what agents in this day and age need, and that's what I try to pride myself on. I get the most joy, frankly, out of agent success. So.
And you do a great job at that.
Thank you.
So with all the training that you do, what are the most common mistakes that you see agents make that really like grind your gears?
So nothing, that's a good question, but nothing grinds my gears because I know that, like I said, this is a business that's ever evolving. You're never going to be in a situation that I'm going to be upset about a question that an agent asked me because for me, you're only going to learn through experience. So the more times that you do something, the more you'll gain the experience and the ability to operate and work effectively. But that's why I'm here. So if something goes wrong, I don't care if you ask. That's why I tell people all the time, agents of mine, I don't care if you got to call me 10 times a day. I'd rather you call me than make a mistake. So call me and let's go through it, make sure that we got it right so you don't make any mistakes out there so that in the future, now the next time you do it, you're like, oh, I remember the last time I was about to do this wrong or I did this wrong, Vincent corrected it. So now, okay, I got it right. And that's the big thing with that.
Okay. What would you say is your biggest accomplishment in your career?
Helping agents to go over six figures. That's my biggest accomplishment. That's the thing I have the most pride in of that.
That's where
Training.
your passion lies.
Yeah.
Okay, so success is measured differently for everybody. How would you say that you measure success?
Every day is a success to me. So if an agent learns something new in a day, that's a success to me. If a client is helped by something that we have from our knowledge base that helps them in a negotiation, that's a success. So successes to me are measured daily throughout the day. As anything is accomplished, it's a success to me. So every time that we can accomplish something or help someone, that's a success. So that's how I measure it.
What would you say you owe your success to?
Ultimately, if I had to name one person, the first thing that comes to my mind is my father. That's the first thing. I mean, he gets on my nerves, but I mean, I'm not in the business without him, and he taught me the most.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would be him.
And he made sure you stayed in it when you wanted to quit. So.
Yep, he absolutely did. Yeah. Like I said, it got on my nerves, but uh,
Right.
without him, I'm not here, and I'm probably not being able to help so many other agents in the business if it's not for him. So yeah, so him.
At what point, if any, you might never feel this way, but at what point do you feel like you would have done it all in real estate? And you
Never,
can just never.
never. It's not possible because, like I said, it's too much. It's too many things change, and there's too many more people who need to learn the business the right way.
So you're going to be stuck with us for a long time.
I'm perfectly fine with that.
So let's just change courses a little bit. You're a proud family man. How do you balance everything?
Support. So I can't. I always say this anytime I get some kind of acknowledgement is that I'm not able to really do the stuff that I do without having Christina kind of being the brains behind the operation in the house.
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely kind of what keeps the balance. Of course I love to do stuff with the family, so I'll be the one that likes to do a lot of stuff, a lot of outings when I have that
Mm-hmm.
time to do that. So or travel or something like that. So yeah, but I always make sure that that is incorporated and everyone has some fun time with me. Yes.
Okay, so your time management and leaning into your support system, what are some other best practices that help you in your business day to day?
I would have to say, I do something my father taught me when I was just kind of my first couple years in the business was making sure that I have a things to do list that I go through at night and I go through first thing in the morning and I leave it on my nightstand. That and a business plan. Those two things are on my nightstand, on my office desk. So I like to plan. So I like to plan things out. And if I don't have a plan, I'll create a plan. But generally, I like to operate off of a specific plan and I'm task oriented. So, once I have a task set on my day, I like to check it off and then move on to the next.
Okay. So you mentioned that you did home improvement before becoming an agent. What does your real estate portfolio look like? Do you own properties?
Yes. Yeah. So I have my primary residence and five other properties.
Okay.
Hmm.
Are these like Airbnbs or
No,
rentals?
no. All the other properties I have are rentals, just straight rentals,
Okay.
not Airbnbs, just straight rental, just
Okay.
buy and holds. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, so you mentioned your father. Is there anybody else, whether it could be another mentor or just somebody you admire in the business who has kind of inspired you in your real estate career?
I would beyond my father. I mean, obviously with Exit, probably the biggest two people from other than him that I guess have had some impact, especially how I view Exit was number one was Steve Morris, the founder of Exit Realty. The first time I met him in 2006, I was absolutely blown away by his speaking ability and how he delivers information, and it completely helped change my mindset. He is the one that got me doing affirmations, having my kids do affirmations every day. So that's definitely Steve Morris, and then the other person, also from Exit, would be Tammy Bennell, our U.S. CEO. She also is a dynamic speaker, and her insights and her support, honestly, as a broker, have been, for someone at her level, for me to be able to text her or send her an email and her respond right back to me, managing hundreds of thousands of agents, around the United States is significant. So, yeah, I would say those two people.
Okay, so what's the best advice or lesson learned from your experiences that you have?
Best advice given to me or best advice I've given?
Either or. Best advice given to you, or it could have been something you learned, and then this is the advice that you give to other people.
I'll probably put that again on my father. When it comes to really, I mean, he always was the one that was on time management. I was always pretty good with planning, but that thing's to do list to me is like an invaluable thing. The stuff that I have when I set a plan on stuff I have to do for a day, if I don't do it, he always says, "Well, if you missed it, then when you go to read it at night, you got to transfer that you missed for that day onto your things to do list for the next day." And it would make sure that I would always get all my tasks done. So that is invaluable to me because it allows me to stay organized, and that's what lets me be able to do all the different things that I do.
Yeah. And that's pressure because if you miss 5 things and you already got 20 things for tomorrow, you got 5 more things. That's a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
So
That's
yeah,
what
that
we
is good
subconsciously
advice.
do. That's right.
So as a boss, I know a lot of entrepreneurs, they have their hands in other things. Do you currently participate in any other businesses?
So I obviously have Exit Realty. I do also uh, deal in the solar business as well. And then beyond that, it's really my real estate investing. Those are really the main things I do.
Okay. Is there anything else that you'd like to share?
If you're an agent, you need to contact Shaina, and you need to join this Exit family anywhere in North America. That's if you want to be properly trained. And I don't care if you think you know everything. Majority of agents that come to us and are trained by me, normally even after the very first training that they have with me, they're like, "Man, I didn't know this stuff after being in the business for this long." But I give all that credit, like I said, to my father because that's he has always been a brilliant person when it comes to real estate, and so I'm just lucky enough to have gained that ability to pass on knowledge as well.
All right, so at the end of every episode, we do a final walkthrough, just like at the end of every real estate transaction. So tell us, Vincent, what does boss life mean to you?
What does boss life mean to me? I mean, I guess probably the biggest thing I've been saying really today is just staying and keeping yourself properly time managed. As long as you can do that, you can maintain your boss status and elevate and expand always and always.
Okay, well, there you have it. Thank you for taking the time to sit with us today and let the people know how they can get in contact with you.
Well, I mean, with me, it's pretty simple. You can just find me on Instagram at Vincent Ekuban or Facebook, also Vincent Ekuban. Other than that, that's pretty much it. But if anything, if anybody heard something and they're inclined to get started in real estate, contact our host Shaina. She is a very good mentor to get you in front of me, because normally you gotta go through someone that's already with me to get to me. So, all right.
Very true. Well, thank you for that. I do appreciate it. Feedback and referrals are every real estate agent's love language, so be sure to hit that like button, send a comment, share, and subscribe.